The last days was about the last days of the old covenant. The last days was about the last days of the Jewish temple. Jesus said the Jewish temple was going to be destroyed in that generation. A generation is about 40 years. 40 years after Jesus said that, the Jewish temple was destroyed, exactly like Jesus said. In the Gospels, I think it's in Luke, Jesus says, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you will be so, he says, Jerusalem, when you are surrounded by armies, then you will know your desolation is near. Well, in 70 AD, the Jews were celebrating at the Jewish temple. Just listen to what I'm about to tell you. Remember in the Gospel, Jesus said, on that day, they will be eating and they will be drinking, and then destruction will come on them. They will be eating and they will be giving into marriage, like in the days of Noah. Well, in 70 AD, the Jews were eating and drinking on the day destruction came. On that day, the Jews had to go to the Jewish temple so they could celebrate the Passover. The Passover is the day where the Jews celebrate when they were freed from Egypt. They passed from death to life. So when the Jews went to the Jewish temple, what do you do during the Passover? What did Jesus do during the Passover? They break bread, they drink wine, they eat and they drink, and they celebrate the marriage of Pesach. They celebrate the marriage of the Passover. So in 70 AD, when the Jews were celebrating the Passover, the Roman army surrounded Jerusalem, exactly like Jesus said. And here's the key thing. That phrase, coming on clouds, that is an ancient Near Eastern phrase used in other places in the Bible, like in Jeremiah and in the book of Isaiah. In the book of Jeremiah, it says, look, the enemy is coming on clouds. So in the ancient Near East, when a rival army would come your way, the first thing you would see would not be the army. The first thing you would see that would notify you that an army was coming your way was a thick blanket of clouds of dust. So the clouds would not be clouds in the sky, but the clouds were clouds of dust on the ground from the horses. So people would look off into the distance and they would see an army coming on clouds. So in 70 AD, when the Jews were celebrating the Passover, they were in Jerusalem and the Roman army came on clouds of dust and surrounded Jerusalem, and its desolation was near. So when the Jews saw the Roman army, they harao, they saw, they finally understood. It was finally revealed to them that the reason why the Roman army was surrounding Jerusalem was because of Jesus's doing. That's why when you go to the book of Zechariah, the book of Zechariah says, and they shall mourn like one mourns for an only son. There's another verse that I'm forgetting, but in the book of Zechariah, it says, it says, they shall look upon me who they have pierced. They shall look upon me who they have pierced. Well, when did Jerusalem look upon Jesus? They didn't literally look upon Jesus. When the Roman army came, they finally understood that the reason why they were being surrounded, the reason why Jerusalem was about to be destroyed, was because of Jesus's doing. So when they saw the Roman army come, they saw Christ. That is what the second coming of Christ was about.